Hi, it's Pastor Paul L. Anderson here at the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, where we believe God's blessings never stop flowing. It is Triumphant Thursday. It is that day during the middle of the week that we're making our way towards the weekend, and God causes us to triumph by using His powerful name in all of our circumstances and situations in our lives. Today, I want to ask that you look with me into the book of Genesis, the 12th chapter, verses 10 through 20, a message that I have entitled, I Was Afraid. Have you ever noticed that in this life and in all of what we deal with, when we're afraid, sometimes we do some things that might not exactly be our true character and who we are? Have you ever noticed that there are situations when we become afraid or we're frightened that we'll sometimes tell a portion of the truth but not tell the whole truth? Today, as you and I begin to look into this biblical text, it tells us the story of a man by the name of Abram and his wife Sarai. This is before their names were changed to Abraham and Sarah. Now, even in the midst of all of God's promises that he has given to Abram still finds himself lacking a little bit of confidence and faith to believe that God will do just what he said. Remember, it was through Abraham and Sarah that God would bless them and give them the son, and reminded him that his seed would be as many as the stars in the sky and all of the stars you can find in the heaven. But now we find themselves that there is a famine that has struck Canaan, and Abram is forced to go down to Egypt, and where he lived as a foreigner. While he's there, his wife who is with him, Sarai. Now, Sarai was not only his wife, but she was also his half-sister. They had the same father, but different mothers. And she was extremely beautiful, insomuch so her beauty was so astounding, everybody noticed her. So now while they're in Egypt, he says to her, I'm afraid if they find out that you're my wife and they see how beautiful you are, they'll kill me. So will you please agree to let everybody know that you're my sister? And so they find themselves making their way to Egypt. And so when the Egyptians saw her and they said, this is his wife, let's kill him, he thought they would say, but rather he says, tell them you are my sister. So when they see her, they realize how beautiful she is. Not only do they realize how beautiful she is, but Pharaoh sees how beautiful she is. And he asks her to please come and be with him in his palace. So Pharaoh gives Abram many gifts because of her. He gives him sheep, goat, cattle, male and female donkeys, and you name it. He gives him everything that he wants. But soon thereafter, a plague begins to fall upon Pharaoh, his household, and all that he has. Pharaoh says to himself, there's something wrong. Some things just don't add up. So Pharaoh summons Abram, and he accused him sharply. He said, what have you done to me? He demanded. Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say she was your sister and allow me to take her as my wife? Now, then we find out that everything shifts. So Pharaoh ordered some of his men to escort them out. Abram, Sarai, and everyone, he says, get out of my country. You have caused this plague to fall upon me. It lets us see that when you and I make the harmful and the dreadful mistake of only telling a portion of the truth and not telling the whole truth, that things can simply go wrong. So today, you and I must ask ourselves the question when we're afraid, is it that we tell a portion of the truth, or do we tell the whole truth? The whole truth was that she was his half-sister, but she was also his wife. But he only chose to tell the part that she was his half-sister. Today, let's find it within ourselves to try to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help us God. And today, as you and I go forth to do what God has called us to do, as we find ourselves being confronted with situations, even though there's fear, let's make sure that we also have faith to believe that God will do just what he said he would do, and not try to preempt him, to think about the circumstances and the situations that we might find ourselves in, but let's walk in faith and in victory. On this Triumphal Thursday, always know in this year of 2022, God has a very special blessing in store for you because you are exceedingly and abundantly blessed. And I'll see you on tomorrow.
To sow a seed to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, visit our newly redesigned website, thefountainofraleigh.org, and select Sow a Seed from the homepage. Also, giving has been made easier with the new Fountain of Raleigh app, available now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Download today, select Giving from the main menu, and then follow the directions to complete your giving through Subsplash.
Thank you so very much for all of your gifts and donations that you've given to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship. We thank you for what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and what you will do in the future. Your gifts and donations helps us to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, not only locally, but throughout the world. Thank you again for your gifts, and may God continue to richly bless you. It is here at the Fountain that we believe that we are exceedingly and abundantly blessed, and may you receive those blessings that God has in store for you.